All right, we are live. All right, let me go and just share this link out. All right, just make sure I get this out. I want to make sure one, I'm live streaming, and two, well, that works. Had some technical difficulties yesterday, so thanks for bearing with me if you missed out on the stream. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I still don't know what happened. Let's see here. If just want to verify, trust but verify. All right. All right. Excellent. Looks like we are live. Let me go share the link here before we get started. And bam. Hey, we got somebody on. Welcome. Just waiting to share this link out just to make sure we got somebody in here. We don't always get somebody in here, but I'm excited to see if we can get a win today. Geez, we need it. We need it bad. We need a win bad. Let's see here. We get it's gonna pull up the MLB.com app. That way we can kind of be ready to get this game on. Man, what a shit show yesterday. That was just terrible. But it's typical for this team. If you've been watching the games this season, you kind of know this is like a prototypical way for this freaking Mets team to lose. And it's frustrating, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? All right, let me see if I can get. Let's see here. I'll try to see if I could share my screen. Okay, allow. Bam. This should be the screen. Let's see if I can fix it a little bit. Bear with me because I'm in business. All right, I think this is all right, but it does seem a little off. Man, this is always like the weird part with messing with these screens. Like I said, I know there's like a way to do it and have it clean every time, but I'm still learning. Let's see here. Okay, all right, that might be what it is. I think that'll be at least good enough to get us going here. Man, what a show yesterday. I had like technical difficulties yesterday, and yeah, I have no idea what the hell happened. But at some point, I just gave up. I was like, you know what? Something's telling me not to stream, not to complete this stream. And then I went and, against my, I don't know. I guess it was actually a good omen, right? Because I went and I stopped streaming, and then the Mets collapsed. Maybe I wasn't meant to stream that game because I would have just like lost it. Anyhow, all right. So anyway, the good thing is that we don't really have a lot of people watching in general, so they don't get to like miss out on that stuff. That would be something that would be more problematic if I was a more established streamer. So nobody's missing out. There's plenty of other folks streaming anyway. But we'll see if we start getting some more participation in here. Only because the games are a lot more fun when we got participation. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea how much confidence we could put in Senga today. He has been so off ever since he got back from the disabled list. I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. I have no idea if I'm coming across choppy. It kind of looks choppy on the other side again. I live stream on my other channel, but I don't usually have like another screen that's up there. Maybe that's what's causing some of the choppiness. I have no idea. Doesn't matter until I get folks in here telling me that what's going on with the screen. I'm just gonna keep. I'm gonna keep going. Let's see, I'll share that. Maybe we'll get some folks in here. I think we need it. I think we need all the help we can get right now when it comes to this team. Like something's got to happen. We got to unite. We got to just say a collective prayer. I don't know what we need. All I know is that it's been bad. So, but the nice thing is that, well, up until the last game of the season, there's always another game to play, and I'm just hoping that we have enough juice left in the tank to get us into the playoffs, right? I mean, shoot, it's been terrible. It's been downright terrible. So, like, we need something, man. Like, we need some kind of juice to kind of get us through because whatever it is now, like, it's just not working. It's not working. So we'll see. I mean, I know it's not. There's still a decent amount of season left, but you got to think that at some point we're gonna run out of season. Like, right? We got like a little over 40 games left. Like, we got to make something happen. Hey, what's up, Chris? Thanks for joining. And I don't know if you stuck around last time, but you are a moderator on this forum here. Hey, we got a second viewer. What's up? I was just talking about how we're running out of time here. Like we got Senga up on the mound today. We don't know what that dude's gonna do. Like he hasn't been the same since he's come back. And we got a little over 40 games left. What's gonna happen, man? Like we can't. I want to be optimistic, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, this is hey, what's up, Phil? What's up? Chris, this is Phil. Phil lives in South Jersey and he's like surrounded by Phillies fans. Pitching has to change tonight. Who else will be number two? Will be that number two, baby? I don't know, man. Phil, I got no idea, man. We had Peterson last night. We had all our hopes rested on Peterson because he has been the most consistent guy in our pitching staff, right? He's like Mr. Consistent. He pitches to contact, right? We've been talking about like all along how we're walking way too many people. Yep, kill me now. So many Phillies fans. I know, man. I don't blame you. Like I live in the DC area, so like there's not. I mean, they're Philly fans over here, but they're not like in like you got in South Jersey. You probably see Phillies hats all over the place, and those guys are brutal. Like they really love their team. So I respect them in that respect, but especially with the division rivals, they can be brutal, man. So hey, you know what? It'll make you stronger, right? That's probably why you're so optimistic and strong, because you have to deal with that kind of stuff all the time. So hey, what can you do, man? Oh man, shoot. But This out of here. Da-da. All right. Mets can turn this around. Pitching needs to work on things, but it comes down to coaching. Yeah, man. I know, man. I hear you. I kind of agree, right? But at the same time, these guys are professionals, right? I know Mendy is gonna take the blame. Stearns is gonna get some blame. Shit, even like Cohen's probably gonna get some of the blame if we don't do things right this year. But in the end, like these are not little league players, right? Like these are professional ball players. So, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, okay, they've been playing baseball since they were like, probably in the kindergarten age, right? Like how much more motivation and like they need? You know what I mean? Like Juan Soto does not need motivation. Like none of these guys, they're all professionals. They get paid millions of dollars, and I try to like be like I understand, but at the same time, like the players gotta play. Like play your game. Like I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I'm just like it just boggles my mind that I can think that a player could be unfocused, right? Like we both have jobs. Like imagine if you like showed up unfocused at the job, we get fired, right? And hey, Senga starts off, hey, a ball one over it. Yeah, it is a confidence issue, man. Like hitting is contagious, right? You know, and then also lack of hitting is also contagious, right? So these slumps can get contagious. It's just we can't help but notice that these guys start the first two innings, they come up and score. All right, Profar grounds out. Good start. They come in, they score a couple runs, and then they check out. Like I know we scored 6 runs yesterday, so that wasn't necessarily our offense's fault. But at the same time, you score 3 runs in the first 2 innings. You got to finish the job. You can't just stop. Like you gotta step on their throats, right? Like you can't just do that. And the walks have been killing us, man. Now I think that hasn't changed since the beginning of the season, right? We've been walking people left and right season. It's just that we've managed to get out of the innings. So like, Senga was walking people, Holmes was walking people. It's just that we managed to get like the double play, like our defense will make a big play, and then we get out of it. Yeah, exactly. Last year, that doubleheader, we kept scoring to the end to win that. That's right. That's how you got to do it. There's 9 innings for a reason. Like this isn't rocket science. This is just baseball. The game they've been playing and we've been watching for forever. You got to play all 9 innings. You can't just score the first 2 innings and then call it a day. Even if you score 6 runs, that's not enough. That is not enough. Like I managed to do like, see little league games and I seen all the way to the high school level. And you play every inning. That's like, you don't teach anything different other than you have an inning, you go and you don't waste that bats. You don't waste that bats and you don't give away base runners like the Mets have been doing. Like that's just not a recipe for winning. All right, we got Matt Olson struck out swinging. So far, it's a good start for Senga. This is what we want to see. But again, this is not anything different that we have been seeing from our starting pitching. We've gotten like really strong, like 3 innings from our starting pitchers, and then they collapse in the 4th or 5th inning, which just boggles my mind. This is how we start every game. Exactly. Agree 100%, Phil. We start every game like this, and then like that 4th or 5th inning, we have that 1 inning, and it's usually not that late in the game, and we collapse. Yeah, we can't afford. Like we're running out of games here. You're absolutely right. We're running out of games. We got 41 games left after this one. Like we're gonna run out of time if we don't put it together. All right, Baldwin gets a single, is on base. 2-out base runner for the Braves. Let's see if we can get Osuna out of here and get to bat. Now this time I'd like to still score in the first 2 innings, but I'd like to continue scoring. Like the Braves are not a good team. This is what the issue has been. We've been making these crap teams. We even made the Rockies look good. Let's see what we can do here. And it's not fair. Like our offense, I know we stopped scoring, but we scored 6 runs. Come on now. 6 runs is still a pretty decent amount. Just didn't expect Peterson to kind of like fold up like that. It was like he's been Mr. Consistent for a little bit already. I like Peterson a lot. And I can't blame him for having an off night. Like every pitcher has off nights. His just happened to be in a game that we really needed. Yeah, yeah. It's just like, we never needed a game as bad as we needed one last night. A good performance. We needed a David Peterson performance last night, and we didn't get it. And it's hard to fault him because our pitching staff has just been crap overall lately. But hey, you know what? Such is life. I know we talk about how much these players get paid, but the other players that are playing against us get paid just as much. Maybe not as much as the Mets, but Braves are a pretty decent market team. So this is another very professional team that was built to win. And we just folded yesterday, unfortunately. All right, we got a full count to Osuna here. Hopefully Senga doesn't lose him. We got to stop with the stupid walks, man. Walks are killing us. Like, let's not lose this piece. All right, he fouled that ball off. So Osuna's not going down without a fight. Yeah, we got a challenge, man. Like, this is the one thing that the Mets, I was mentioning this before, is who's calling the balls and strikes here? Like, I have a feeling like Torrens and Alvarez are not calling the balls and strikes. Whoever's in charge of calling the balls and strikes on this team is getting they're really too cute with the strike zone. And we're not challenging anybody. Yeah, that's what Senga has been doing, to walking a bunch of them and letting them score. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, Senga was walking a bunch of folks earlier in the season. It's just that he was getting the outs when we needed them. Like all of our pitchers have been doing that. I maybe except for David Peterson, and maybe early. I don't know. Even Clay Holmes has been doing that all year. Only Peterson I can think of has not been really walking a lot of guys, in my recollection, the way I can remember. Because Peterson's one of those guys, he's a ground ball pitcher, right? Ground ball pitcher, your bread and butter is pitching to contact. All right, we got Osuna to pop out a Pete. All right, so we got out of there. We held them. Senga held up for the first inning at least. Let's see if our boys can come in and get some runs on the board, man. Yeah, he hardly walked anyone. Exactly. Peterson since last year, if you count last year's performance and his performance this year, even though I think technically he had a better year last year than he's been having this year, he is our ace. Like, I know he's not he's not that kind of pitcher. He is our ace. Yeah. David Peterson has been the most consistent pitcher that we've had on this team since last year. Because we had Manaea that started off really rough, and he turned it on. And obviously Manaea was hurt most of the year, and he's not back to full health. Peterson has been the only dude that you could say we could hand the ball with and say, okay, we have a good chance to win. Everybody else has been shaky, man. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, we had Canning before he got hurt, was doing well. But again, you have to wonder how long that was going to last. Canning was overperforming for us. We were looking like geniuses when he was up there. Yeah, I'm so happy that we didn't lose when Pete got the record. I agree. That was a silver lining in all of this. In all of this crappy stretch that we've been going on, is that Pete got that record. Not did he only get the record, he actually added to the record the same game. And we won that game because we scored basically in every inning, I think, except maybe the first inning and maybe one of the last couple innings. But we were scoring every single inning. That's how we're supposed to play. Like I said, it's not rocket science, man. All right, we got Lindor batting leadoff. again, I'm not opposed to leadoff Lindor. I like leadoff Lindor. Everybody knows about that since last year. But Nimmo really did better in leadoff. I really rather see Nimmo here only because I know that leadoff Nimmo is the best Nimmo that we've seen so far this year. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. When Lindor works a 2-0 count, that's already a good sign right there. Yeah, agreed. Nimmo's been the best at leadoff. I mean, we know that Lindor's been slumping. I don't think like him batting leadoff is leading to that. I think he's just still really. I think Lindor's been playing hurt since that broken toe, and it's affecting him. And now, because it's affecting him, it's also affecting his mindset. So like even his defense is being affected. Like he's not the same defensive wizard that he was in previous years. Like he's made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, agreed. I throw Nimmo, Lindor, and Soto, and then Pete. Agreed. Completely agree. That's a winning lineup right there. To me, at least a winning top of the lineup, and then we know that the bottom of the lineup still got to hold their part, right? We got to get McNeil and Beatty and all these other guys hitting too. All right, Lindor grounds out. I had hopes that he was going to walk in that one. He had, I think 3-1 count. Oh well. And we got Soto. Everybody's been talking about Soto leading off, about wanting him to play. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Even though I know he walks a lot, I don't know if and he's been stealing bases, so that's another thing but I don't know if I like Soto at the leadoff spot, to be honest. I know he could do it because he's just got a great eye, but it doesn't mean we should do it. All right. Soto starts us off with a single to right field. All right, Soto. Let's see if we can get Soto to steal another bag. Soto is like on the way to becoming a 2020 guy right now. And who knows, maybe he has enough time to be a 30-30. Nobody expected that. Like nobody that was vying to sign Juan Soto expected him to be a 2020 and maybe a 30-30 guy. That's a new trick for this guy. And that's really cool. I mean, I know he's young, but like you didn't really see that kind of like that base running Soto. Like he's already stolen more bases than he's ever stolen. Yeah, we need to pounce. So we got Nimmo up. Nimmo puts the ball in play. Let's see what he does. Come on, Nimmo, do something, man. Do something good. See what we got here. All right. Nimmo singles on a sharp ground ball to right field. We got Juan Soto going all the way to third. First and third with Pete up. That's what I'm talking about. Now, again, this is not any different than what we've seen from the Mets. So I'm trying not to get too happy, but hey, it's hard to be unhappy with offense, man. Like this team needs that. We need any kind of celebration we can get. All right, Pete takes 1-0. Let's see if Pete can drive another ball in the opposite field gap. All right, he puts the ball in play. Let's see what Pete did here. Come on, something good, Pete. Give us something good. Pete grounds into a double play. All right. For a second there, I thought he hit a double, but turns out he hit a double play. All right. All right, Pete. That was a little anticlimactic. Oh well. Shoot, man. Yeah, man. I think we are in do or die mode for sure. So if we don't turn it around quick, like we're running out of games, man. We are running out of games. I'm glad we got the game in yesterday, and I was super happy when we started off so strong. But once we decided to like give away the lead, that's when I was like, oh crap. Maybe I spoke too soon on that. I was so happy when the game started, and then I was trying to live stream, and then my live streaming stuff wouldn't work. So then I was like pissed off, and I just gave up. I gave up, and then basically the Mets just imploded. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Thanks for stopping by, Phil. I appreciate it. If your phone dies, don't worry about it. Pop in whenever you like. I'm gonna try to do this whole game today, and hopefully we get a W. And if we don't get the W, we'll cry about it in the Facebook groups. I'm hoping we celebrating. I want to root this team on, regardless of how bad we do. I'm still rooting the team on, but I just much rather root them on after a win. Yeah. Pete's been smoking the ball opposite field lately, and you know, yeah, I kind of envision in my head an Oppo double. I mean, that home run. Yeah, it said runs and was blue, and then said double play. Yeah, exactly. I thought I got fooled the same way. I saw double, and then I thought, oh shoot, he hit a double, and I said no, double play. But that home run that he hit to break Straw's record was a laser beam. Like that ball got out in a hurry. That was a line drive. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's a do-over. They miscalled it. Shoot, freaking Michael Harris singles again. This guy will not leave us alone. This dude sucks, except when he's playing against the Mets. Like he's a defensive wizard. Like he's always like that. But this guy never gets hits except when it's against the Mets. Like there's something about this dude that he plays the Mets and like becomes like an all-star. And then he always plays great defense. Like you can't really fault him for that, but that dude loves killing the Mets, man. Like he took over like Freddie Freeman's spot on the Atlanta Braves as the Met killer. It was like Chipper Jones, then Freddie Freeman, and now it's Michael Harris and the Braves, like killing the Mets left and right. It's ridiculous. Like, he steals the base. He steals second base. Well, Harris took the BP out. I mean, there's still a chance if we catch him off base, but Harris stole second base. That dude just always murders us. He probably attended a Mets game as a kid and like didn't get an autograph from one of the Mets players and decided that he's going to grow up one day and like murder us every single time. Yeah, he stole that base on Torrens. Like Torrens got a gun. Like Alvy's got a gun too, but Torrens is like he's the guy that people can't run on, and he stole that. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I'm like, what did we do to this guy that all he does is like he lives to kill us? Now, hopefully, he doesn't end up scoring. Now he's in scoring position with nobody out. And we got Albies. Albies is another one that seems to like do well against us. This whole team killed us. I remember the last series. Did we even win a game the last time we played the Braves? Maybe we won one game. It's ridiculous. Like, this team sucks. It's like the Nationals. They suck, but when they play us, all right, we got Albie swinging. All right, one out. We still got Harris in the on second base. There's one out. And then we got Bruhan. Yeah, we just need to focus and get more strikeouts with the Ghost Fork. And last year we beat them to get it. I agree. Yeah, it's just that and we were talking about this just a little bit ago. Senga's Ghost Fork, they're not swinging at the Ghost Fork, man. They're not swinging at that pitch. It was his out pitch like before he got hurt. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe after he got hurt, something with his mechanics, right? So we know that like everything in the pitcher's body is connected. So if something is hurt, whole delivery could be impacted. So maybe his Ghost Fork is not as ghosty, because he's still kind of hurting from the injury. Something happened because he's a completely like that Ghost Fork. They're not swinging at it. Like they're not fooled by it. Like we know the Ghost Fork is not a strike. He doesn't throw the Ghost Fork for the strike. That ball has a sinking action and it's way down in the zone. And they were swinging at it before he got hurt. Now they're not swinging at it. And then he has to come in the zone and they're pounding the ball. Yeah, that's right. Same thing with Lindor. Like there's something that happens with these guys when they're not 100%. Yeah. When they're not 100%, they're just like, okay, we got a second out. So we got struck out Bruhan. All right. So we still got Harris on second. Let's see if we can strand them. Yeah, something happens with these players. And like with Lindor is a big example. I was talking about this on the Facebook group. That Lindor is like one of the most mentally strong players that we probably have in this entire league. Like that's a dude that's like locked in and he rises to the occasion. But again, I think that he just can't help but realize that he's not 100% and it's affecting his mind, like even his defense. Like Lindor's defense has suffered. Now, again, we know that a broken toe is going to affect your footwork. But I got to think that his plate, now that it's like it slumps at the plate, are impact. He's taking it out into the field with him. And you never want to see that. Anybody that's like played baseball or has like, seen the game played at a high level, they always tell you, don't take your at bat out with you into the field. All right. We got Alvarez to fly out to Mullins, 3 outs. Well done. We stranded Harris. Yeah. Like Lindor's taking it to the field. Like he's like playing a lot more sloppy than we're used to, Lindor playing on defensive end. His throws don't have like the same oomph. So he's lollipopping the ball a little bit more and his footwork's off. So I got to think it's the combination of his toe and also he can't get over the fact that he can't get a hit to save his life. I mean, he got a couple hits the other day. But one of them was like a bunt single, you know what I mean? Yeah, doctor says he's clear, then Lindor can clear his head. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I'm like, if it was like when Nimmo was playing hurt last year. Remember when Nimmo was hurt? He was playing. I think it was during the playoffs. I think Nimmo was hurt during the playoffs. So you got to be thinking, I'm like, is he helping the team or hurting the team by playing hurt? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like it's courageous, right? It's a brave thing to do. But I mean, at some point you're thinking like, dude, just stay off the field. You know what I mean? Like a hurt player, we got 25 guys for a reason. And I know Nimmo like is a guy that you want there, but you want him there when he's playing like at full health. Like him swinging at a bunch and giving away a bunch of at bats because he can't swing the ball. He can't swing the bat right. Like it was his foot. That's what it was. Nimmo's foot was hurt. He had like that plantar fasciitis. Yeah, don't hold the team back by trying to play. Exactly. Because like I said, we have backup. We had Winker. We had guys that could play. Like they're not going to be as good as Nimmo. But Winker wasn't terrible. Winker actually had a pretty good postseason, I think. Shoot. I think Winker had a damn good postseason. Yeah. It's like we have to like at some point it's up to the player to take themselves out, or for like Mendoza to say, "Hey, listen, man, from what I'm seeing, you're not 100%, man. You're hurting this team. I'm gonna scratch you at least for a couple games. You know, maybe that'll help him get his mind right, and he comes back a little more hungry, and then it'll be like a easier to erase the bad night from before. You know, I think we got to do that. As much as it pains me not to see Lindor in this lineup, if he really is playing hurt, then we got to scratch him. Yeah, we have Acuna. We have guys like Mauricio. Mauricio could play shortstop. We could have Beatty at third, Mauricio at short, and McNeil at second, and we'd be fine. I mean, yeah, I don't think too many guys are going to be better than Lindor at short. But again, Lindor's hurt. Even Lindor is not as good as Lindor at short right now. All right, McNeil flies out. So we got one out. McNeil's another guy that needs to find it, you know? Like, we need that bat. We need him on base, man. Yeah, I don't mind bringing Acuna back. Maybe Acuna, like I said, my hope is that Acuna is in AAA, working on like and getting that confidence back. Similar to what happened with Alvarez, because Alvarez came back. Alvarez is swinging and a lot more comfortable at the plate ever since he got back. Like, I don't know, in terms of like Alvarez, his swing now, like his approach, it passes the eye test. You know. Like Alvarez even taking timeouts, like he's working the count, and he takes a whole, that he swings out of his socks every once in a while, but he's driving that ball opposite field. That opposite field home run he hit was a laser. That ball was a laser. That was like similar to Pete's Oppo home run to break the record. That was an absolute laser. That ball was like, it was either going to hit a wall and go through the wall, or it was going to go over the fence. All right, we got Mullins up. Well, Mullins is down 1-2. This is another guy that I feel like is swinging a good bat lately, and I'm hoping that it keeps continuing. Yeah, Alvey has been great lately, but we don't need to swing for the fences. Yeah, I agree, man. Honestly, I don't want to see that from Alvarez. Everybody keeps talking about Alvarez with the home run ball. If Alvarez works gap to gap, I know he's not a speedster, but gap to gap, if he hits the gap in the right field and the gap in left field, I'm perfectly fine with him hitting doubles and even some singles if he hits it too hard and the player gets it. I'm okay with that. Like, we don't need to be hitting home runs. And that's what, like, his last home run, when he hit the 2 home runs the other night, his last one was when he pulled it. And I'm getting a little scared when I see that. When I see Alvarez pulling the ball, then I start getting worried that he's going to go back to his old ways again. And we don't need that. We don't need that dude coming, like, regressing back. Like, we need him going back to opposite field, thinking opposite field, and hitting the gaps. Like, he's strong enough that he's gonna hit home runs. All right, Mullins called out on strikes. All right, man. Let's see. We got 2 outs. We got Romo coming up with 2 outs. This is another guy that's been kind of like a little bit lost. Mauricio is a little bit lost at the plate. I think he's kind of showing his lack of experience at the major league level. You know he's got the ability, but like right now, what we're not seeing from Mauricio is him making adjustments at the plate. Like, everybody that knows about like this game, they know that these players, they got to come in with a plan A, and they also have a plan B, and then maybe even a plan C. And they got to be already thinking about that, like already in the on-deck circle, Even before they're on the on-deck circle, they got to be thinking about what their game plan. They got to be reading that pitch, and Mauricio just doesn't look like he's not convincing me that he's doing that. And that's scary because I'm like, dude, all right, there you go. He struck out. All right. He struck out on a 4-seam fastball. That's what's been really frustrating. Like when we saw the other night, I forgot against who. Hey, that's right. We do got a second person. Whoever you are, feel free to comment. Phil and I are just talking it up here, but feel free to add any comments. But I was just talking about how the Mets have been missing the fastball. That's terrible. When pitchers have like come in the zone and challenged us, we've missed the fastball. And that's frustrating. I'm like, you're looking at the ball, it's dead red, and they're missing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like when you get a four-seam fastball and nobody on your team can hit it, I'm like, you're doing the pitcher a favor, right? Because all he has to do is live out the zone and get you behind an account, and then he can just come into the zone, and then he doesn't have to worry about it because he knows you can't hit it. Yeah, man. It's difficult to make me shut up. I'll tell you that much. Like I said, that I guess luckily is or unluckily for you guys is that I don't have a lot of followers and a lot of viewers yet. If I do get more viewers, that's great. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep talking because this is what I do sometimes to myself or whoever's in the house, right? I just talk it up and I start like getting frustrated and I start if nobody's there to listen to me, I'll just talk to myself. And I start talking about all the stupid shit, like, what are you doing? We like yelling at the screen, you know, because I'm like sitting there, like, I know they can't hear me, but I feel like sometimes I got to say something, or else they're going to screw it up. Like, like superstitious, that's how we are. I guess this is like the most superstitious sport, every little thing we think affects the game, even though we know it doesn't. Like they don't care. Like nobody there is sitting there caring about who's on watching on screen. Unless it's like family. But we still do it because like we do it. We don't do it for them. We kind of do it for ourselves. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I do the same thing, Phil. I do the same exact thing. I talk to myself and I'm like, okay, it's just a game. You know, these guys are a bunch of millionaires. Again, this is a game of millionaires playing for billionaire bosses. So I'm like, who cares? But I do care, right? And the reason we care is because we identify with the team. Yeah. Yeah, no judging like that, just having fun. Well, I seen you on the Facebook groups, and you're usually pretty positive. I know you get in your ruts too, but we all do, because that's we just frustrated. We want this team to do so well, but we get frustrated. We get frustrated because we identify with this team. I mean, Phil, I have no idea how old you are, but like I'm close to 50 now, and I've been watching this team since I was like 7. I think it was like 6 or 7. I think 1984 or 83 was like the first time I've been watching the Mets. So I got to see the 1986 World Series. I got to see that. I was young. I was like maybe like 3rd grade or 4th grade, but I saw the series and I was a big time Mets fan. And I was like, holy cow, man. We're going to win this World Series and we're going to win like probably 10 more. And we never won one World Series since then. And it's been frustrating. So I'm like, okay, we pay way too much money to be having a team that hasn't won in this long, So I'm just hoping that if it's not this year, there's going to be sometime soon. Because, I don't know how long, I'm trying to live. I'm going to try to live forever, but I at least want to see one more World Series. Maybe 2, because I'm greedy. Let's see if I can get 2 World Series before I leave this earth. Yeah, see, you were born in 88. There you go. Yeah, man. So you didn't even get to see the last World Series, Like 88 was a good year. We thought we were going to win that one too. We should have won that. But we ran into the Dodgers, man. Orel Hershiser killed us in that fucking – I'm sorry, I cursed. But Orel Hershiser killed us in that series. And then that was a famous home run, the Kirk Gibson home run that he hit for the Dodgers to beat the Oakland Athletics. I don't know if we would have beaten the Athletics that year. The Athletics were a killer team. They had Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson. They had Dennis Eckersley. They had Dave Stewart, I think. Those guys, I don't think you ever heard of those guys, Phil, but they were really good players. Maybe you heard of Jose Canseco and McGwire. But yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. All good talk shop. No one cares. Agreed. I agree. Yeah, I agree, man. I try to keep it, only because sometimes I'm like, I start thinking that there might be like some kids on, you know what I mean? Like, obviously we know that we only have 2 people on here. But I get worried that like on my streams, if somebody like is a parent or they got their kid listening and they hear this guy cursing on screen, I don't want to like, I know kids probably hear worse on the street these days, but I don't want to be adding to that. I mean, like, especially if I'll have a guilty conscience if like the first curse word that kid hears comes from me. I don't want to do that. I'd rather that be something else. But kids are online these days, and they probably have access to stuff that much worse stuff than somebody just cursing on the screen, especially with a Met game. All right, Matt Olson singles on a ground ball. All right. 2-out single for the Braves. Let's see if we could get this. If we can get this next guy, we get Baldwin out and keep him scoreless. Yeah, man. 36, 88, man. Shoot. My 4-year-old knows more than I thought she did from schools. Yeah. And I'm like, my parents are worried about what they say, but they learn way more at school. I agree, man. Unfortunately, that's how it is. It's one of those things where I'm like, then you just hoping like, I'm not a big believer in censorship, believe it or not, because I think you got to teach your kids what right for wrong, right? Because you can't shield them. Like we can't be next to our kids every single day, 24 hours a day, right? Like maybe when they're really young, you could do that because they're not going to school. But eventually, they got to go to school, and after that, they'll go to work. And we can't be there. Like we just got to go and teach them right from wrong, and then hope that they make good decisions. And I kind of believe sometimes experience is the best teacher. Depending on the experience, but in general, experience is the best teacher. And once we kind of be comfortable with the fact that okay, we did everything we could in terms of teaching them right from wrong. Now we got to trust, they're going to do right. Yeah, we could try to teach them right from wrong, but they got to decide at the end of the day. Yeah, that's what's called free will, right? Free will. That's how free will works, and they got to have the opportunity to make that decision so that they can kind of prove themselves. And it looks like we got Baldwin to fly out to Mullins for 3 outs, so we held him. Hey, so far, first 3 innings. Now, again, that's nothing magical, but we got 3 innings out of shutout ball from Senga. 15-year-old daughter don't come to see me anymore because I try and teach her, and she doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, man, I'm sorry about that, but you didn't do anything wrong. That's a difficult age. 15-year-olds are like that, so don't take it personally. Yeah, she does whatever she wants at her mom's. Yeah, man, I understand. Yeah, let's go and get the score. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man, 15 is a difficult age because they think they know everything. Anybody with a 15-year-old knows that, especially with like girls, because girls seem to grow up a lot faster than boys. Yeah, exactly. But I say you still stick with it. I think you got a calm demeanor. From what I see, I say you stick with it, and I think you'll be surprised at how well things turn out for her. Because it sounds like you did all right. So, and it's tough when there's like 2 separate households. But I think as long as you're consistent and you try to do right and teach her the right way, I think she's gonna be fine. All right, we got 2-1 count to Beatty. Let's see if Beatty could do something here, man. I think Beatty's been a little bit better with controlling the counts lately, which early in the season, man, Beatty's been like, he was swinging at everything. He goes, and as a father, you want your little girl to get to be your little girl forever. Yeah, man. Agreed. Again, I never had a daughter. I only have a one son, and he's an adult. He's 26 years old. Yeah, you kind of want, him to be your little kid forever, but that's just not realistic. Eventually, you will, she will be somebody's wife or spouse, You know. All right, Beatty, work the walk. A walk from Beatty. That was unheard of earlier in the year, right? Now Beatty's walking. That's a good sign. I have a son and 2 girls. Yeah. Is your son the youngest? Or is he in the middle? Oh, your son's the oldest. Okay. The pain and the you know what. Yeah, man. 16. So you got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. Phil, I don't know how you do it. Like I could imagine having two high schoolers. Okay, he's the oldest. I can't imagine having 2 high schoolers on your hands at the same time. I only have to deal with one because I only had one child. So that was tough enough as it is. But luckily, he was always into sports, and that kept him busy. So he stayed out of trouble for the most part. And I got him working. That's another thing, Phil. If you want some advice from somebody that's like 10 years older, and maybe you don't, but I'll tell you anyway. Get those kids, get the 16-year-old and 15-year-old to work if you can. You might not be able to because maybe mom will say something, Terrence grounds into a double play. Jesus. All right. Okay. I really wanted to see Alvey hit today. I did not want to see Terrence in the lineup. I wanted to see Alvey again. But oh well. Yeah, I would get them to work. I think that was like the best thing I did with my son was as soon as he was eligible to work, and he was a little upset about it at first, but I think once he started earning his own money, man, I think it changed him. And the good thing is to like work a service job because those are jobs that they usually give to teenagers anyway. But I think it's good for kids to one, earn their own money, and also to interact with other adults that are not like their parents. Because they start learning how to be polite, right? Because if you're a waiter or a waitress and you're not polite to your people that you're serving, then they're going to make less money. So they just start learning how to build a good start building those social skills because it's harder for kids to build social skills. Hey, Lindor homers to center field. All right, there you go. Attaboy, Captain Lindor homers to get the Mets on top. 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Way to go, Cap. His 22nd. All right, baby. Attaboy. Way to go, Lindor. Man, you gotta see that, right? Remember, we know as Lindor goes, so do the Mets. We need this, and not that we don't only need this, we need much more. We already learned really the hard way that one run is not it, but it's a start. All right, we got Soto grounded out for the first out. Sorry, Soto grounded out for the third out. All right, 3 outs, but the Mets now are winning 1-0 at the end of 3. Now we come into the scary, scary 4th inning with these Mets. We're going to find out, if we can get through this 4th and 5th inning with Senga. I guess we just better take it 1 inning at a time, right? Let's see if Senga can get through the 4th inning. Hopefully no walks and no runs. And then we'll keep doling it out because, shoot, who do we have other than Justin Hagenman? Holy cow, Justin Hagenman was so money the other night. Man, what a tremendous effort when in that first game against the Braves. He pitched 4 innings, and I'm so glad that Mendy kept feeding him the ball because he was doing everything we expected the rest of the Mets pitching staff to do. And I'm hoping that Mendy rewards him by giving him the ball a lot more. Like that guy needs to be rewarded, and I'm hoping that he continues. Hopefully it wasn't a fluke, But 4 innings from your bullpen guy, for a team that's been there, like the pitching staff has been struggling. That's for me. If the Mets are able to win tonight, and even though Pete got 2 home runs, Albie got 2 home runs in that game. Like for right now, until I see otherwise, Justin Hageman is the player of the series for the Mets right now. Like there's no question in my mind. Only because, and nobody's talking about him. Like everybody's only talking about Pete, and Pete deserves the accolades. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Pete, but Justin Hageman is the MVP of this series. And if we end up getting a win and then we get on a winning streak, I'm totally going back to Justin Hageman. Like that effort, I think, was what put us over. Because you saw what happened last night. We had David Peterson, our most reliable guy, that couldn't get it done. So that just made me miss Hageman even more, you know? All right, Senga quickly starts 0-2. This is so far a good sign. Let's see if we can avoid a disaster inning here. I'm amped right now. Lindor's home run got me amped. I'm seriously amped. You got to love that, man. All right, 1-2. All right, we got the ice cream man outside in my neighborhood, apparently. Shout out to the ice cream man. Let's see if I got some. Oh, Phil, I just got your text. I'm sorry that you're getting kicked out. That's weird. I don't know what's going on. I wouldn't put it past YouTube. I've been having trouble with YouTube all the time. Actually, sorry, not all the time, but last night I was. All right, Osuna flies out to center field. So we got 1 out. All right. Just responding to a text from Phil. It looks like Phil's having technical difficulties. Hopefully, nobody else is having the same problem. I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything on my side. Like I said, I do know that yesterday I had technical difficulties. So far, the stream has been working. We're coming up on 1 hour in this live stream. So hopefully nobody had that same issue. Again, it's possible that there's something on my side only because I'm brand new at this. So I'm going to apologize even if it's not my fault, just in case. But so far, we got a 1-2 count to Harris. Let's see if we can get Harris out finally. He calls timeout. We need this dude out. Like, I want this guy out. If we get through this inning, I'm going to go get another drink and then maybe we can kind of keep this train moving. I definitely need another drink before we get to the next part of the batting order here. All right, Harris evened it up at 2-2. Let's get this guy out. Harris got a base hit and stole a base. He got a single and stole a base in the when was that? It was a couple innings ago. But yeah, luckily he didn't manage not to score. Like Senga was able to work out of it, but we can't keep putting this dude on. He just loves killing us. He likes to get on base. He likes to steal bases, and he stole that base on Terrens. Like Terens is not an easy guy to steal on, you know. Although that'd be oh right, we got Michael Harris to strike out number two, out number two. Now we got Albies. Um, you know, I guess Senga, given because of his fork ball, his ghost fork, is probably an easier guy to steal on, only because you know that ball is going to be dying. You know, so Terrence has to catch the ball cleanly and then fire a strike to second base. You know, even Terrence with his cannon arm, he can only do so much depending on where that ball is going to land. All right, Senga ahead 0-1 on Albies. Oh man! All right, Albies homers on a fly ball to right center field, and ties up the game. All right, Senga gave up the lead. Now we got to see if we can hold, if we can just stop him. I think we knew that one run was not going to cut it, and the Braves get that one right back. I was so happy that we got Michael Harris out that, but 2-out home run by Ozzy Albies, his number 10th on the season, and he ties the game up 1-1 in the top of the fourth. Still 2 outs. All right, Sengak works an 0-1 count, swinging strike for 0-1. And Brujan lies out to left field, Brandon Nimmo. And the Mets get out of the inning, but not before the Braves tie it. It is now 1-1 heading into the bottom of the fourth. The Mets will send up Nimmo, Alonso, and McNeil to the plate. Let's see if we can get get that one back. I will be right back after getting myself a drink. All right, I am back. My drink will be here soon. Um, and Nimmo strikes out to start the inning, unfortunately. Again, I am not a fan of Nimmo in batting anything but leadoff. I don't really care about like opposing opinions. I just think that he's better at the leadoff. Um, yeah, I just don't know why he's not batting leadoff. Like he literally has shown that he's crap everywhere else except batting leadoff. But that's okay. I don't make the rules. Basically, um, yeah, it is what it is. Um, Hopefully, he finds a way to just figure out his life there for a moment and get back to his hitting. And by hitting, I mean basically getting a pitch to hit and hitting that, and then otherwise walking because that's Nimmo's game. Nimmo's gotten away from his bread and butter. I want to say ever since we signed him to that big contract. He all of a sudden thought that he was some sort of 30 home run guy when he was never meant to be. That's not his game. The reason we signed him was one, we thought he was a center fielder, and he wasn't. Um, and we thought that he was going to be a guy that was going to be an on base machine, and he just went away from that. I don't know why. I mean, he already got the big contract. What else? Why wouldn't you just stick to your game? The only way I can think of is that he decided that he was going to play for his next contract by becoming some sort of turning into a home run machine, and it's just blown up in his face. And the Mets have been worse for it. All right, we got Pete Alonso striking out, swinging. So far, not the and McNeil lines out. So far, the Mets failed to answer back after the Braves tied it in the fourth. So at the end of four, we are still tied 1-1. The Braves will send up uh, Alvarez, Allen, and Profar. Yeah, we have got to start playing every single inning. These wasted at bats are getting old quick. They're not going to lead to success. So now, if the Braves go through and take the lead in the next frame, we're going to have our backs to the wall again, and then we're going to have to come from behind. And we haven't really been really great at doing that. We saw how quickly the game yesterday turned with one bad inning, and it went from 6-0 to 6-5, and then the wheels fell off from there. I was texting with my boy Phil. He was upset that we lost the lead, but like I mentioned to him, this has been the story of our season. We score early and then just give it right back. You know, the only difference is that this game we waited to the third inning to score. Usually we score the first two innings and then disappear. That's why I was excited that when Lindor hit the home run in the third inning. Um, I thought that was going to be we're going to break the mold. We still got a lot of game left. It's just again we just haven't had a lot of confidence in these in our offense. You know. All right, Senga starts off with getting Alvarez to fly out to right field. So we got one down in the top of the fifth. Game's moving pretty quick today. That's a good sign until unless like we're fall behind. We end up losing the lead, then this is to our detriment. Like I said, the major theme is that we're running out of time here. This team is running out of time and running out of games to put it all together and make everything click. Now we still got enough games to make something happen, but like we just need to see that sign. We thought we saw that sign that first game versus the Braves where they exploded for 13 runs. But then yesterday carried over into the first two innings yesterday, and then we just basically disappeared after that. Like we can't have a team like that. All right, so Senga gets Nick Allen to strike out swinging. So we got two down so far. Senga seems to be strong through this through the first 2 hours here of this inning. So that's a good sign. If he's able to get Profar out and not get into any trouble, we'll probably see him in the sixth inning, which is kind of a minor miracle given like the starting pitching as of late. All right, he's quickly ahead 0-2 on Profar. All right, 1-2. Foul. We'll do it again at 1-2. All right. Senga gets Profar to ground out to Jeff McNeil. Tosses over to Pete. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the fifth. And the Mets come to bat. We're going to send Mullins, Maurizio, and Beatty. Let's see if we can get ahead. See if anybody is interested in joining. We had a couple guys in. Phil had technical difficulties. Let's just mention to Phil that Senga actually had a good fifth inning. So can't complain about that. So far, besides the home run, I believe to Albies, Senga's been pretty spot on. Again, we cannot sit there and score one run for Senga and expect him to like be okay with that. You know. Let's see here. All right, we got Mullins. Mullins has been swinging a pretty good bat lately. He started off struggling when he first got over to the Mets, but I think he's starting to put it together. And Mullins is not a very big dude. He's kind of a solid dude. Um, but all right, Mullins flies out. All right, we got Ronnie Mauricio. Again, Mauricio is another guy that's kind of like a little bit more lost. We know why he's here. We know the kind of talent that and the kind of potential that he has. But right now, I think he's kind of showing his inexperience. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. He's showing his inexperience, and we're hoping that obviously the Mets can't hang their hopes on Ronnie Mauricio maturing overnight. This is going to be a work in progress. Um, I think the main thing that Mauricio needs to work on is, I don't know, I want to say kind of like the homework. And again, I'm assuming that he's not done the homework. He might be, but it doesn't look like he's coming up to the plate with a solid game plan. You know, he called timeout. That's a good sign. That's something that I've been seeing a lot more of the Mets doing that Lindor has always done, uh, and they're copying him rightfully so. Um, you just don't get a sense that Mauricio has a solid plan A, plan B, and definitely not a plan C in his at bats. He is very basic, and his talent alone will not see him through at this highest level unless he's able to step it up in terms of like between the ears. All right. He strikes out, second, 2 outs. And it's up to Beatty with 2 outs. Beatty worked a walk in his last at bat, which is always refreshing to see. Beatty is somebody that if you've seen him early in the season, he's just not somebody like, oh, he called timeout right to begin with. That's interesting. But Beatty was somebody that he didn't know about a pitch that he didn't want to swing at. Like he swung at everything, and if he happened to get a fastball, he'd crush it. Otherwise, he'd usually, swing over it or ground out weakly. Um, but I feel like he's evolving. So that right there is a nice juxtaposition, that counter comparison point between uh, Mauricio and Beatty. And obviously, we know that Beatty has a lot more professional experience at the highest level. So Beatty's got a lot more of that maturity. I still think that Mauricio has a higher ceiling than Beatty, but right now, comparing, both of them, Beatty is a much more further along as a professional hitter than Mauricio is. Honestly, I think Beatty is also ahead of Mauricio defensively. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's the truth. I think Mauricio has more raw tools than Beatty, but Beatty is a much more polished defender than Mauricio is at this point in comparing to both of them. Again, I love Mauricio's ceiling and his potential, but we just aren't seeing it yet. And it is probably not fair to him that we, to even expect that we do. It's just that we really need it right now. We really need the most out of both of these guys, to be honest. All right, Beatty grounds out. Grounds out over to Bryce Elder, who flips it over to Matt Olson, and the Mets go up and down, 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the fifth. Super frustrating. Now we are gonna see if we can get another inning out of Senga. Hopefully so. He had a good, fifth inning, top of the fifth. I think we're gonna give him the ball again. And I mean, it's just if you're a Met fan and you've been watching the games late, I know what you're thinking. You're just waiting for the shoe to drop. And hopefully it doesn't. Like I said, we need this win. Like at this point, even though we got 40 games left, it just feels like every win is a must win. Every game is a must win. All right, Senga misses for the first pitch to Matt Olson. Let's see. I think Senga has not walked anybody. I'm not seeing any walks here. So Senga has 6 strikeouts so far through 5-inning pitch, giving up 1 earned run on that home run to Albies. And so far a good outing. We're waiting to make sure that we don't walk anybody. Right now he's behind 2-1 to Matt Olson. This is starting to feel like that kind of inning. And if you're a Mets fan, you know what I mean. All right. Senga evens the count. 2-2. Ball 3. Full count to Matt Olson. All right. This is going to be a pivotal next pitch. Is he going to put Olson on or give up a hit? Or is he going to get an out? Foul ball. We'll do it again. 3-2. And he gave up a walk. You hate to see the leadoff walk. This is already starting off bad. I hate to be a doomsayer, but this is kind of how the Mets have gotten in trouble, and well, to be honest, all season. It's just up until recently we've gotten away with it. We've always gotten the double play ball, some sort of great defensive play. All right, Baldwin grounds into a force out. Second base McNeil to Lindor. We have 1 out. That's a good sign. So we still have a runner on first, and yeah, one out this time. See if we can get a nice double play ball here from Ozuna. Get out of this inning and go to bat. I think we'll have the top of the order back up. I think we'll have Torrens, then the top of the order. All right, so 1-1 count to Osuna. Again, if you're just joining us, or well, we're at the top of the sixth. The Mets have one run on a solo home run by Francisco Lindor. The Braves have one run, I believe, on a home run by Ozzy Albies. It's one out at the top of the sixth. One man on, and Osuna with a 2-2 count now. So we need a double play ball. It would be very nice to have a double play ball right now. And Osuna fouls off the ball. We'll do it again at 2-2. All right. Senga gets Osuna striking out, swinging. 2 outs. That was a huge strikeout. But we got dangerous Michael Harris. Again, only dangerous to the Mets. Michael Harris basically stinks offensively unless it's against the Mets. Again, I don't have stats to back that up. I don't know. I'm just making an informal observation. This guy usually always comes up with terrible numbers, but then when he plays against us, he looks like freaking Ty Cobb. All right, I haven't seen a pitch to Harris yet. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Hopefully, this is not a bad sign, either for the Mets or for my live stream here. All right. It quickly went to 3-1. I don't know what happened with the whatever it is with the stream. And Michael Harris singles on a sharp ground ball to center field. We got Michael Harris does it again. Ty freaking Cobb against the Mets. Okay, well, Harris singles. He moves Baldwin to third base. So the Braves had first and third with 2 outs. Now, my guess is that Michael Harris is going to steal second base. Now the only question is, Does Baldwin try to run on that throw and try to score the go ahead run? I wouldn't put it past this Braves team. Okay, pitching change. Senga does not make it through the sixth inning. So Senga goes 5 2/3 inning. Again, not the worst thing, but not the greatest thing either. He didn't do terrible. Yeah. I think we started this with the walk to Matt Olson. Again, the walks will kill you. So we'll see if Ty Rogers can come in and stop the bleeding here, and keep this game tied. Again, it's top of the sixth, 1-1. And the Braves are threatening. Man on first and third with two outs. And we just replaced Kodai Senga with Ty Rogers, who's trying to get us out of this inning without any runs scored. All right. Ty Rogers quickly starts on top, swinging strike, 0-1. T. Albies. Now, Albies is responsible for the sole Atlanta Braves home run with a solo home run off of Kodai Senga. Oh, God. Albies does it again. Singles on a line drive to left field. Baldwin scores. Michael Harris to second. Ty Rogers fails to get it done. And the Braves take a 2-1 lead in the top of the sixth, and they're still batting. All right, so Rogers is able to get Brujan to ground out softly. Torrens to Pete Alonso at first, but the Mets are now trailing 2-1. So essentially, the Atlanta Braves has been driven by Ozzy Albies. He hit a solo shot, then got an RBI single to drive in the go-ahead run as the Mets come to bat in the bottom of the sixth, trailing 2-1. We're going to go and send Torrens to the plate, and then we will go back to the top of the order with Lindor and Soto. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. It was something that was. If you've been watching these games, you kind of feel it's inevitable when the Mets took that lead, especially when they only had one run, that it wasn't going to be enough. The good thing is that this shouldn't be insurmountable. Again, we should be able to scratch a couple runs off of anybody, especially the pitching staff the Braves have. They're not that good, but we will see. Again, maybe Mendoza will come to his senses and send Alvarez up and pinch hit for Torrens. Again, I don't want to see Torrens here, but again, I would be glad for Torrens to prove me wrong. And do something big in this spot. And Torrens quickly down 0-1 on a called strike. Again, Elder is not a fantastic pitcher, but he's done great tonight. Held only made one mistake to Lindor, and he's keeping that ball low in the zone. Torrens quickly down 0-2 and calls timeout. And Torrens grounds out to third. Quit just like that. 1 out. And we're back to the top of the order. We have Francisco Lindor, who's 1 for 2, with the one hit being a solo blast to get the Mets on the board. That was in the third inning. And Lindor swings at the first pitch. Let's see what he does. And Lindor singles on a line drive to left field. All right, starting getting the feeling that Lindor's finding it again. That's a good sign. Like I mentioned early in the stream, as Lindor goes, so do the Mets. And we have Soto here with 1 down. Just wondering if the Mets are going to send Lindor. This could be a time to send Lindor and then hope that Soto's able to drive him in, tie this game up. And Soto takes the first pitch for ball 1. It's a pitch low. Pitch didn't miss by much. It was right at the bottom of the zone. And Lindor steals second base, his 19th of the season. So Lindor is 1 stolen base away. Actually, Lindor goes to third base on a throwing error by Drake Baldwin. Well done. All right. This is the spot. This is the spot that we need. All we need is a high fly ball by Soto. Hopefully he works that count and gets his pitch to hit and is able to deliver that fly ball. Soto's ahead 2-0 now. Hopefully he's able to work this count, get his pitch. Of course, I'd much rather have a hit. But all it takes is a long fly ball. All right. Soto takes 3-0. I wonder if he's going to get the green light. We saw Alvarez get the green light the first game. And ended up doubling. This time, Soto takes the walk. I got to think Soto's going to be running at this point. So we got a little bit of speed. Soto's got so-so speed, but he's got some good instincts. Lindor's got a little bit of wheels. We'll see if we can get maybe even a double steal. Who knows? And we got Nimmo up at the plate. We need a long fly ball. We cannot ground into a double play right here. So you got to be thinking that we're trying to get eliminate double play ball. All right, Nimmo hits a sac fly to left field. And the game is now tied. Nimmo ties the ball. He does his job. Well done. It is now a tie game. We got a pickoff attempt at first base. Yeah, I'm really loving. This is something I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm really loving. Actually, I think I did mention this. Soto has become a stolen base threat. This is something that when we paid that huge contract for Soto, we were not expecting to get. So Soto's on the verge of a 20. He might even be able to have a 25-25, maybe even a 30-30 season. We've never seen that kind of game from Soto before. It really is nice to see the evolution of Juan Soto as he's reaching his prime years. Ball in the dirt, 1-1 to Pete Alonso. You would love to see Pete drive one right now. Maybe something strong in the gap, the right field gap, and maybe Soto will have a chance to score. 2-1 to Pete. Juan Soto steals second base. Gotta say, I saw that one coming. Stolen base number 19 for Juan Soto. So he's one stolen base away from joining the 2020 club for, I believe, the first time in his career. Great thing is the inning is not over with. We have 2 outs. If Pete can get a little base hit here, we could actually take the lead here. And Pete calls timeout. He's a pitcher, and we got Elder and Alonso kind of playing a little cat and mouse game here. And the next pitch is a ball, full count to Pete Alonso. Let's go, Pete. Base hit, ball 4. Let's just do it. Pass the baton. All right, the next pitch is in play. Let's see what happens here. 4-seam fastball. Let's see if Pete does something with it. And Pete singles. Juan Soto scores. Pete Alonso puts us ahead 3-2. Pete Alonso with the 2-out RBI, and the Mets take the lead 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th. And we still bat with 2 outs. You gotta love it. You gotta love this fight. It's a fight that we have not really seen from the Mets as of late, or at least enough fight. We know that this is not enough. Let's see if they can kind of add on to this lead. We got McNuggets here. Pete coming up clutch with RBI, I believe RBI number 99 on the year. So Pete one away from hitting that 100 RBI mark as he comes up on trying to get a contract renewal. And McNuggets takes the first pitch 1-0. You got to be psyched about this if you're a Mets fan. We've been starved for just any kind of positive momentum here. We've kind of just had so many daggers, to the heart. All right, McNuggets grounds out, so that ends the inning, but not before Pete Alonso comes up huge. On the heels of a sac fly by Nimmo to tie the ball game at 2-2. Pete puts us ahead and drives Juan Soto in after Juan Soto steals second base. That's pivotal. And the Mets take the lead 3-2 in the bottom of the sixth. All right. So we still have Ty Rogers in the game, and he starts off on top 0-2 to Alvarez. Good start for Ty Rogers after kind of a shaky appearance in the last inning to tie, giving up the run to tie the game. Well, to give up the lead. And just like that, Alvarez flies out to center field, 1 out. All right, so 1-1 count to Allen. And Allen grounds out to Pete Alonso, who tosses to Ty Rogers. Just like that, 2 down. So far, Rogers looks like he settled down after he gave the go-ahead run. It is amazing that wow, Ty Rogers quickly ahead, 0-2 on Profar. See if Ty Rogers can get out of this and with the scoreless seventh inning. We haven't seen Helsley here in quite a bit. Yeah, I'm really excited. Just like that, Profar singles. So a 2-out single from Jurickson Profar. And yeah, we'll see if Ty is able to settle down and get this last out. I gotta think this might be the last inning for Ty Rogers. Well, we got a mound visit. We may just see Ty Rogers out of here now. Let's find out here if we've seen the end of Ty Rogers' night right now. If you've been watching Mendoza, this is kind of a favorite move of his, is to kind of just change these pitchers between innings. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I mean, I guess it all depends if it works, right? Hindsight is 2020. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, then it's stupid. All right, we got Matt Olson, dangerous batter. And it looks like Ty Rogers is still in the game. And he misses for ball one. That ball was way outside. Trying to get Matt to chase. The next pitch is a cold strike. Threw him a slider at 74 miles per hour. And the next pitch is fouled off. So Rogers is ahead 1-2 with 2 outs. Come on, Rogers. Let's get this out. All right. Foul ball. We will do it again at 1-2. And Matt Olson flies out to center field for the 3rd out. And Rogers works through the 2-out single to Profar and gets Matt Olson to fly out to center field to stop the threat and keeps the ball game 3-2 Mets heading into the bottom of the 7th. The Mets will send up in the bottom of the 7th Mullins, Mauricio, and Beatty. Pardon that. Talking to my man Phil, who's going to be back on here soon. Just taking care of his daughter. Gotta have priorities, you know. As much as important as Mets baseball is, it doesn't come before family. All right, we got Mullins leading off the bottom of the seventh. Hey, somebody's on there. Whoever you are, welcome. It might have just been Phil, and Phil might be still having trouble getting back on here. All right, Mullins quickly spies out to left field. One down, just like that. And we have Mauricio. Mauricio is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. So hopefully he's able to do something other than Kane this time. Again, we talked about Mauricio's struggles in his first real big league season. And it's 1-0. And Mauricio pops out to second base. One down. I guess the good news is that it wasn't a strikeout. And we got Beatty coming up with 2 outs. Let's see if Beatty can work another walk and maybe at least clear Torrens for this inning. He foul tips the first pitch down 0-1. Beatty calls a timeout. I'm really liking Beatty's evolution here. Beatty's becoming a lot more of a complete hitter with some of the little things that he's doing. He is down 0-2 right now, but he's shown some progression, and you really got to see that. And just like that, I just praised him, but he struck out swinging. But the Mets are still ahead, 3-2. We have a viewer. I was just talking about Beatty and how he's made some little tweaks to his approach at the plate. Beatty's really being a little bit more patient at the plate. Again, it hasn't translated into huge success, but the man worked the walk this time. Like Brett Beatty walking was unheard of. And when you start seeing these little things, like he called a timeout and this at bat, it didn't work out. He still struck out, but I feel like we're seeing Beatty make these little tweaks, and you feel like Mauricio needs to get to the point where he starts making those tweaks. I think people have been comparing Beatty and Mauricio since they both came up, and I don't know. I'm somebody that personally, I think Beatty is further along. At this point in his career, Mauricio just has a lot more upside. But right now, I think Beatty's better defensively, and he's better with the bat. Has a better approach at the plate. But it's not necessarily fair to Mauricio. Mauricio doesn't have the amount of major league time that Beatty does. So I do think that Mauricio will surpass Beatty at some point. But for right now, Beatty's ahead. I don't think folks that know, unless you really are a Mauricio homer, I think you kind of at least realize, and there's a good reason. Like I said, Beatty has more time at the major league level. Mauricio just needs more time. But I think he's going to get it. I think he's shown brilliance, what he's capable of. And now it's just a matter of him figuring out those little adjustments so that he can fulfill his potential. But I like what I'm seeing with Beatty. we'll see. I don't know if Beatty has a future with the Mets. I'm still thinking that at some point he's going to find his way onto a different team. I feel like the Mets are so high on Mauricio that Beatty will just be the odd man out. Um, unless we figure out a way to have, uh, maybe Beatty at second, Lindor at short, and then Mauricio at third. In which case, then that leaves Vientos as the odd man out, and maybe even McNuggets if we don't have a outfield position for him. We'll see. Like I said, it's going to be some decision making that needs to be made, for the future. But for right now, we just got to focus on getting into the playoffs by any means necessary. We got to get into the playoffs and try to turn it on. Like this team has not clicked. Like we're 121 games and we have not fully clicked, consistently as a team. And maybe that'll happen in the playoffs, but we got to get there first. Anyway, the Mets have Helsley. I knew Helsley was going to come in. I had a feeling he was going to come in. He had that shaky start. That shaky outing in Milwaukee, I believe it was. And he's better than that. Now, in that same, I think, outing, Helsley got up to like 103, which I had no idea he was capable of throwing 103. I mean, I knew he was a fireballer, but I didn't know he was at that level. So it was nice to see, but he got touched up pretty good by the Brewers. I think it was Contreras that took him deep. But the Brewers are just playing the best baseball right now. They're the best team in baseball right now. So you really can't fault them for that. But I still believe in Helsley. I still think he's got that kind of stuff that really is going to help us. If we're going to make the playoffs, Helsley's going to be a part of that. I really like that acquisition. Anyway, Baldwin flies out to left field. It is one down, but Helsley is behind Ozuna 2-0. All right. Called strike 2-1. Again, I really like Helsley a lot. I mean, I'm not trying to overly hype him up, but I've seen him with the Cardinals, and he was the real deal. It was really good acquisition. And Ozuna fouls off the pitch, and it's now an even count. See if Helsley can work a 1-2-3 inning here. And maybe the Mets can get another shot. We got Torrens and then the top of the order up in the bottom of the eighth. All right, now a full count, 3-2. Ozuna seems to be 0 for 3 so far today, but he is a dangerous hitter. And we lose Ozuna to a walk. Never want to see that. Don't want to see walks. And then, of course, who do we have up? We got Michael Harris up. Let's see if we can break this Michael Harris. He's got 2 hits already for today. I don't think he scored. All right, offensive substitution. We got a pinch runner for Osuna. So they're gonna try to see if they can make something happen on the base pads here. Put a little speed on the bases. Let's just get Harris out. I think we got Albies up right after him. Albies is right after him. Albies is also 2 for 3. Harris and Albies have been killers for us today. Oh boy. Oh boy. Harris doubles to center field and scores Eli White. It is tie game. What you gonna do? Again, I started off praising Helsley and his stuff, but Michael Harris has been killing us all day. I mean, he's been killing us all career. Um, so yeah, wow, that's a really a big punch in the gut. Still only one out. I mean, it gets to the point where we're going to have to start intentionally walking Harris. But at the same time, Harris has speed. Harris will steal a base on you. He did steal a base on us. So Harris hits his 20th double of the season to tie the game up at 3-3. Yeah, we need to stop. Hopefully, Helsley can just barrel down here and get a couple more outs. We got a mound visit. We may see a change. I don't know. Or maybe we're just trying to calm Helsley down, slow him down a little bit. Yep, Helsley is just still in the game. He starts off and fires the first pitch for ball one. Again, Helsley's tenure with the Mets have not been what we would have wanted to see. But again, I still have faith in his stuff. I think his stuff plays really well. I really think that was the right acquisition. And Albies doubles to right field to score Michael Harris as the Braves take a 4-3 lead. Well, what are you going to do? This has been the Mets. I got to tell you, what a punch to the gut. This is so super frustrating. Just checking in with the Facebook groups. Everybody's super frustrated. You know, my man Phil was talking about the Helsley not being a legit pitcher. I mean, I can't blame you for thinking that, given what we've seen of Helsley. I've just seen Helsley way too often on the other side of the ball when he's pitched against us, and he definitely has stuff that plays. It's just whatever it is, he hasn't found. I think he had a great debut and struck out the side in his debut with the Mets, but after that, he has not been what we expected him to be. But again, we're kind of running out of time as a team. So Helsley did get Brujan to ground out for the second out. He is up 0-2 on Alvarez. Let's see if we can get out the inning and hopefully get this one back. Next pitch is in play. And Alvarez pops out to third base. Brett Baty. But not before the Braves put 2 runs up in the top of the 8th inning to regain the lead 4-3. And the Mets will send up Torrens and the top of the order with Lindor and Soto. We're running out of innings here to make this game happen. Be nice to see a substitution and get Alvy in there, a pinch hit at bat. Maybe Alvy can make something happen. Oh man! All right. Well, we had a substitution for Torrens. It wasn't Alvarez. It was Starling Marte, and he quickly popped out to shortstop, 1 out in the bottom of the eighth. And then we got the top of the order, Lindor batting from the right side this time. And Lindor quickly down 0-1. Hey, Lindor singles on a ground ball to shortstop. So Lindor picks up another hit. Again, I have no idea what was the deal with Alvarez. It seemed natural that you would want to have pinched hit for Alvarez because Alvarez would have just replaced Torrens behind the plate. Again, I don't know. I guess Marte would have been an okay option, but I really thought we should have seen Alvarez up to lead the inning. And Soto was quickly down 0-2. You wonder if Mendy is going to send Lindor. And Soto strikes out swinging. Now 2 outs. Now it's up to Brandon Nimmo. the pickoff attempt at first base. And Nimmo swings to even up the count at 1-1. Another swinging strike. Nimmo is down 1-2. And Nimmo draws a ball to even up the count at 2-2. And Nimmo grounds out to first base. And just like that, the Mets are out of the inning and still trailing the Atlanta Braves 4-3 heading into the top of the ninth. The Braves will send up Allen, Profar, and Olson as we try to get a stop and go back to bat in the bottom of the ninth to see if we can get the game tied and maybe even walk them off. Kind of a punch to the gut this whole game. Again, you're seeing a lot of the. It really has been a 1-2 punch with Michael Harris and Ozzy Albies on the Atlanta Braves front. It's really been a two-man show for the Braves. The Mets just haven't been able to find it. Just telling my man Phil that it's really just been Harris and Albies killing us all series. We should be sweeping these bums. The Braves are not a good team. But right now, we're not a good team. We're just a good team on paper right now. A team that's vastly underperforming. We still have time to pull this one out, but we better get it done. Like we got our work cut out for us. All right. Diaz in. He gets Nick Allen on strikes for the first out. And Diaz works to Profar with one out. And very quickly, it's 1-1 to Profar. Ball 2. 2-1 to Profar. You got to think we can't walk anybody. And Profar fouls off the next pitch. 2-2, even count. And Profar grounds out to McNeil, who flips over to Alonso for the second out. Two down. That brings up Matt Olson. My man Phil is worked up. And Diaz gets Matt Olson to fly out to left field. 3 down. And the Mets bring up Alonso, McNeil, and Mullins in the bottom of the ninth, looking to tie this game and maybe even walk it off, right? If you watch the Mets with any regularity this season, at least lately, extra innings have not been very kind to us. So if we're going to tie this up, we might as well take the lead and walk this off because we just have zero confidence as Mets fans watching this team go into extras with anybody. So, hate to be bleak, but, we got to get this done. Like, we're running out of games. We need this game tonight, and we need the games basically every night from here on out to stamp our ticket into the playoffs. We got Iglesias pitching to Alonso. Let's see if Alonso's got a little magic left after already breaking Darryl Strawberry's record. Would be a good spot for number 255. Though honestly, just a leadoff walk would be just as good. You got a pitching change. You got Rafael Iglesias coming in to replace Dylan Lee. And the Mets come into the bottom of the ninth with their backs against the wall, down 1 run. And Pete grounds out sharply to third base, who flips over to Matt Olson at first. 1 down. And that brings up Jeff McNeil, who's been hit. And McNeil quickly takes a cold strike, 0-1. McNeil swings through the second pitch, 0-2. McNeil in the hole, 0-2, with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth, with the Mets trailing 4-3. And McNeil strikes out, foul tip, 2 down, and the Mets are down to their last out in the form of Cedric Mullins. Mullins is also hitless on the day, 0-3 with a strikeout. And Iglesias quickly ahead on Mullins, 0-1. And Cedric Mullins lines out to center field. The Mets lose the game and the series to the Atlanta Braves. Final score of 4-3. I think the Mets dropped down to 64 and 57, I believe. Again, very disappointing series. Despite the fact that Alonso broke the all-time Mets home run record in game one. Yeah. What a state to be a Mets fan right now and watching this team absolutely implode before our very eyes. Yeah, what are you gonna do, guys? Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this stream because I don't really have a whole lot of positive to say. I guess the only positive is that we'll do it again. We have about 40 games plus to try to turn the ship around and try to punch our ticket into the playoffs. But what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like essentially, we're not getting the offense that we need to get out of this team. We're certainly not getting the pitching that we need out of this team. Senga was not terrible today. Pitched solidly all the way up into the that 5th inning when he got into trouble, and it ended up being we ended up giving up some runs. Yeah, again, not a terrible starting pitching effort from Senga. Again, it was nice to see him work effectively, even if it was only for 5 2/3 innings. But this team needs more. We need more. We're not playing with fire, and we need to find that fire soon, or else we're gonna fizzle out. Come down to when it comes down to the playoffs. What am I gonna do? Anyway, thanks for rocking with me. Thanks to my man Phil for joining the stream. And until the next time, let's go Mets. Ciao.